Good day, everyone. I am Michael El Gupiteo, and today I'm going to talk about the different problems of watershed management and watershed protection in Davao City. So first, let us define or differentiate what is watershed management and watershed protection. So when we say watershed management, it is the study of the relevant characteristics of watershed aimed at the sustainable distribution of its resources and the process of creating and implementing plans, programs, and projects to sustain and enhance watershed functions that affect the plants, animals, and human communities within the watershed boundary. Whereas watershed protection is a means of protecting a lake, river, or a stream by managing the entire watershed that drains into it. So, in simple terms, when we say watershed management, you are organizing, implementing, or planning plans for our watersheds, setting up limitations, regulations, and laws. Whereas when we say watershed protection, it is like the action done or the action for protection of our watershed. Philippines is generally blessed with abundant water resources. It has 18 major river basins, has 421 principal river basins, has 72 natural lakes, has coastlines stretching to 266,000 square kilometers. The dependable surface water supply is estimated 125,790 mcm per year, while the groundwater potential is around 20,200 mcm per year. Water management in the Philippines. It is a two-tier system between the national and the local government agencies. So the two parties that govern our water management in the Philippines is the national government and the local government agency. So in the national level, the top of the hierarchy is the DNR or the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. So other agencies need to secure an approval or permit to the DNR before doing an action, especially when it regards to our environment or our watersheds. Let's say, for example, the DPWH is constructing a highway and needs to cut down some trees. So before cutting down those trees, they need to secure an approval to the higher agency and inform them that we are going to cut these trees, this kind of trees, this number of trees. So DNR is divided into three groups: the EMB for the water use management, the FMB for the watershed management, the NWRB for the water quality management. On the other hand, local government agency can impose or set some ordinances or laws with regards to our water management, water resources, or watershed, same as the national government agency. So, what is EMB? EMB, or the Environmental Management Bureau, is the one who formulates programs and apply environmental quality standards for the prevention and control of pollution and the protection of the environment and ensures their implementation. FMB, or the Forest Management Bureau, is responsible for conservation, management, development, and proper use of country's environmental and natural resources, specifically forest and grazing lands, mineral resources, including those in reservations and watershed areas, and lands of public domains. And lastly, the NWRB, or the Natural Water Resource Board, is the government agency which manages and regulates all water resources and services in the Philippines. It integrates and coordinates all water-related activities that have social, environmental, and economic impact in the country. In local, here in Davao City, there are so many government and non-government organizations aimed to protect our watersheds. But the most famous and active ones were the IDS and the WMC. IDIS, or the Interfacing Development Interventions for Sustainability, is an environmental non-government organization dedicated to the protection and preservation of Davos watersheds. It has been registered as a non-profit organization with the Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC, since March 29, 1999. And the next one is the WMC, or the Davos Watershed Management Council, is a multi-sectoral government body tasked with managing the resources of the watersheds. Davao City is a city with 8 watersheds. The first one is the Davao River Watershed, Lasang River Watershed, Talamo River Watershed, Bunawan River Watershed, Tuganay River Watershed, Tipadas River Watershed, Sibulan River Watershed, and the Matina River Watershed. So among these 8, the most famous one is the Davao River Watershed. It is between the Bangkerohan area and the University of Mindanao. So this is the map of 8 watersheds in Davao City. The first one is the Davao River, which is also the biggest among these 8, with an area of 121,385 and passing through 113 barangays. The second one is the Lasang River, with an area of 29,132, passing through 8 barangays. The Talomo River, with an area of 21,585, 578, passing through 26 barangays. Bunawan River, with an area of 18,328 and passing through 21 barangays. The Tuganay River, with an area of 18,120, passing through 2 barangays. The Lilipadas River, with an area of 16,796, passing through 19 barangays. Sibulan River, with an area of 10,782 and passing through 5 barangays. And lastly, the Matina River, with an area of 7,879, passing through 10 barangays. So all in all, these 8 watersheds has an area of estimatedly 244,000 and passing through 204 barangays. The main drinking water source of Davao City are in the neighboring Talomo watershed. These sources are under pressure, and the Davao River Basin is likely to be required for water abstraction in the near future. Davao City Water District estimates that this supply will not be sufficient for Davaoenos. This is why it is looking at the adjacent Panigan-Tamugan watershed located in the Baguio District as the future source of drinking water. However, banana and pineapple plantations have assaulted the slopes of Davao City's mountains, cutting down trees and converting forest land into monocrop plantation. So, the Davao City Water District estimates that in the near future, our primary source of water in Davao City would run out. So, they are looking for uh, another source of water, another possible source of drinking water in our city. Unfortunately, Davao River has been identified as one of the polluted rivers in the country today. Davao River plays a very important role to the people of Davao City, but unfortunately, its water quality has been considerably deteriorated based on the 5-year water quality assessment made by the Environment Management Bureau. Pollution is due mainly to the unregulated use and poor methods of fertilizers and pesticides, inappropriate land practices, inadequate monitoring of industrial and commercial premises and activities, and poor maintenance of septic tanks and absence of sewerage. So, this is a problem tree analysis of the DRB, or the Davao River Basin. So, the primary causes are timber poaching, upland migration, poverty, weak environmental governance, unharmonized development, land use and resource management plans. So if you can notice, the main cause for this is primarily due to humans. So these causes were made by humans, causing problems to the Davao River Basin. So what are the core problems? So the degradation of forest lands and conversion to other inappropriate land uses, leading to poor water quality. So because of the degradation of our forest lands and converting other inappropriate land uses, let's say for example, some forest uplands were converted into residential areas. So there are less trees to hold the soil, so causing soil erosion. So sometimes it contaminates our water resources, leading to poor water quality. So what would be the effect? So depletion of forest cover, biodiversity loss, soil erosion, sedimentation, siltation, flooding, landslide, reduced production and ecotourism value, and reduced access to clean water. On the other hand, the effect to our coastline would be the marine biodiversity loss, reduced ecotourism value, this disruption of economic activities or damage and losses, waterborne health problems. Given all the problems and issues that have been raised, the major challenges that the master plan will seek to address over the next 15 years are: first is the protection and conservation of the ENR assets in the DRB or the Davao River Basin, large parts of which are degraded. Second is alleviation of the poverty situation in the rural areas, which are largely the ancestral domain of the indigenous people, increasing the resiliency of ecosystems, communities, and livelihoods to natural hazards and the impacts of the climate change, enhancement of the capability of designated on-site local and resource managers to effectively manage areas titled or tenured to them, and lastly, putting in place the appropriate and effective governance system, the DRB management. So, with the problems being seen and observed, so the city is widely responsible to take good care of it, to solve it for the next 15 years. So these were the uh, temporary solution or the solutions for now that they see could seek the recovery of the Davao River Basin for the next 15 years. So Davao City major watershed issues. So the first one is unregulated water extraction. Second one is deforestation, land use conflicts, improper cultivation of hilly lands, poor waste management, and lastly, the limited government resources of watershed management. So among these six, the most common one is this one, the poor waste management. So here in Davao City, there are so many residents that are living along the coast, the rivers or our watersheds. Their easiest form of disposing their waste is to dump it directly to the uh, rivers instead of having septic tanks to safely secure their waste, so they dispose it directly to the rivers, which causes environmental issues. Also, deforestation or some forest or upland areas were converted to residential areas, land use conflict, and also the local ordinance for our watersheds are not that strong enough to protect our watershed from other causes. So what are local policies and ordinances on watershed protection in Davao City? As of now, these were the three ordinances mainly to protect our watersheds. The first one is the City Ordinance number 5169-0 of 2001, or the Water Resource Protection Management Code for Davao City, or the Water Code. The second one is the City Ordinance number 0310-07 of 2007, Watershed Protection, Conservation, and Management Ordinance of Davao City, or the Watershed Code, and lastly, the City Ordinance number 0298-09 of 2009, city ordinance for the proper harvesting, storage, and utilization of rainwater, the rainwater harvesting code. So, what are the recent watershed issues and updates? So, the first one is the IDS conducts interfacing with national and local government agencies and non-metallic mining here in Davao City. So, what happened here? So, on this year's interfacing, IDS has again partnered with the Department of Environmental and Natural Resources, Region 11, and City Environment and Natural Resources Office, discussing non-metallic mining in Davao City last October 29, 2020. The interfacing was participated by the Mines and Geoscience Bureau, Region 11, Environmental Management Bureau, Region 11, Davao City ENRO, and other organizations and office participated. So this is the picture. So they talk about the effects of mining with our water resources, with our watersheds. So they talks about the disposal of their waste. What are the effects of mining to our water resources, to our watersheds, and to the environment? As you can see, the water here is contaminated with mud or clay or something, uh, other chemicals which harms our water resources and our watersheds. The second one is the IDS partners discuss plantation and aerial spray issues. The Interfacing Development Interventions for Sustainability, or the IDIS, together with the Fertilizers and Pesticides Authority Sustainable Integrated Area Development Initiatives in Mindanao, converge for asset reform and regional development. Office of the Councilor Maria Belen Acosta and Councilor Raf Abela and officials of Barangay Sirib and Lacson discuss issues and concerns on plantations and the revival of the aerial spraying regulations in Davao City last October 23, 2020. So during this time, they discuss about the effects of the aerial spray, using of aerial spray in the plantations, banana plantations, and pineapple plantations, the effects of it in the environment. So during this time, it highlights of the agreed action points include promotion of the anti-aerial spray policy in the affected local communities or barangays and lobby the same to their respective cities or municipalities. Further, the revival of the multi-partite monitoring team, or the MMT, in plantations was also emphasized. The FPA suggested that the barangay officials would be deputized as local MMT, strengthen self-monitoring of plantations, and include the city agricultural office to monitor good and negative plantation practices. For this to be fast-tracked, and the executive order to be issued by the city mayor was identified as possible option. So with this, they talk about the large effect of the aerial spray, especially those in banana plantation and pineapple plantation. Yeah, like this one, as you can see in the picture, they're using airplanes to spray pesticides or other chemicals for the crop. So in the long run, it would create side effects near to our watersheds or water resources. So all in all, the the value of taking care of our watersheds and water resources is very important because our resources would eventually run out. So we need to take good care of them. We need to protect them because in the future, the ones who are going to be affected would be us. So just be mindful of our actions, especially to when it comes to our environment. So that would be the end of my report for today, and I hope everyone learned about something new about how important of taking good care of our environment, our natural resources, our watersheds. Thank you and goodbye.